No, apart from that.
I've got a new shirt and I've changed the angle of the camera. So, because I have to look over here sometimes and I'm sort of a bit... So, anyway. PJ's not with us this week, but we're good to go, I think. So, if everybody would like to just have a bit of radio silence, I can press the go button. Okay? We all cool?
Yep.
Video had to be switched off and on and again. It should be. You just reload the page for those of you listening. They're not going to hear that, are they? Because they can't see the video. Right. 3, 2, 1... Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sonic Talk number 246. We're live and direct, broadcasting from sonicstate.com/live, 4 p.m. on a Wednesday. If you want to join us in the chat room, there's a massive amount of people in there, so there's a nice bunch of people. You can keep your eye on what's going on in the chat room and participate and all of those good things. So I want to come back here. We got a great, well, how can I put this? But... We've got a new Skype participant. Those of you who might be aware of Mr. Dave Robinson from ProSoundNewsEurope, who I'll put his lower third up there, we can now talk to him in person. So if Dave, you'd like to say a word or two, you have to speak.
Yes, hello.
There he is, and he's holding up his mighty tome for the camera to see. How are you, Dave Robinson? I like to say we had to arrange for your company to be bought by another company just to get you to arrive on Skype. So I'm glad we managed to orchestrate that.
We've been bought by Yamaha.
Excellent.
They're buying no, or is that Avid? They're buying everything else anyway.
Oh, I thought that was Gibson.
Oh yeah.
Anyway. That's another story. But anyway, Dave Robinson, editor, ProSoundNewsEurope.com. In his new office building, you've got the conference room to yourself. Are you overlooking the Thames still, or are you somewhere else in the world?
No, we're in Islington.
Sorry?
We're just around the corner. We're in Islington, actually. So we're just around the corner from Alchemia, the big pro audio training school, and over the road is Angel Studios, where they've been recording all the X Factor tracks every Tuesday. If you want to stop X Factor, you have to get to Angel Studios about 10 o'clock on a Tuesday morning and picket the studio.
Or arrange a power cut.
Something like that. Yeah. So
that's a top tip, Dave. Thank you very much for that. That's actually extremely useful information, and one I may well actually act upon. Or maybe we could... we probably shouldn't say too much more, because if anything actually does happen, we'll get the blame.
Exactly. Then... It'll be like that guy on the Twitter feed, wasn't it? Who was inciting riots, and he ended up being thrown into jail. So I don't really mean go and picket.
Picket's okay. Picketing's not bad.
Oh yeah, I think mean it. Come on, bomb scare them.
Shh, Gaz, just hush your mouth. That's not a good idea to say that kind of thing on live broadcasts. Sorry. Anyway, I may as well say hello to Gaz Williams there, because you are indeed there in full effect. How are you doing, Gaz Williams? Gaz Williams is there on songsurgeon.co.uk, Bristol-based producer from Wales, songwriter, player, and now a niche broadcaster in terms of the iPad show. Also co-host.
Yes, that's going really well.
Yes.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. Can I just put a very small request out? If any of the listeners want to get involved in a certain project that someone's asked me about making a MIDI kora, so that's like the African harp, then get in touch with me, Gaz Goldstar at me.com or through my website. It would be really handy. Basically, it's for a very, very special client, and they want a MIDI kora. So they're part way into the project, and they're kind of hitting a few hurdles. So if anyone's interested in that, then get in touch with me. That'd be really, really handy. Thank you very much.
Gotcha. Well, thank you very much. That sounds... How many strings has a kora got?
21.
21.
So it's
quite a challenge.
It's like a 21. Yeah, they've made the pickup, so they've got like a 21. They've got like a special pickup that they've made for it. So, and I'm not entirely sure what state it's at really. So,
okay,
but I think, yeah.
Okay.
But I can I can sort of put people in touch if anyone's interested in that. Thank you.
Right then. Well, thank you very much, Gaz, and welcome once again to the show. And now let's see, who should we go to next? It depends who talks first. I suppose we could say hello to Rich Hilton there, who's now on the lower row. But we'll see if he speaks, he will join us. He will join the top row, and then I can mask out the others while I do the introduction. How are you doing, Rich? Are you well?
Woof. I'm doing very well, thank you.
Good. Glad to see you, Rich. Rich Hilton, of course, producer, engineer, player, plays with Chic, mans the controls at Nile Rodgers' private studio. You busy?
Yeah, busy. Though I've just had a nice holiday up in Vermont. I returned to busy.
Well, sounds like good for a holiday. Was that Thanksgiving?
No, it was a week later. It was just until Monday, actually. It was a few days away with the wife. It was great.
Oh, lovely. Well, I'm glad to hear you managed to get away for a while. That sounds lovely. Anyway, and also we've still got more to go through, so we'll say hello to Mark Tinley, likebeing.com. Mark there sporting a new hat. I've not seen that hat before. How are you, Mark?
This is the Steiner School hat from when my children used to go to the Steiner School, and the errant Bengal cat who went missing for several days last week weed on this hat, and I've got to stretch it back in now. So
I see. That's quite a lot of information. Mark, Mark, hold on. Your mic is breaking up nastily. You've got that kind of clipping going on your mic. I don't know if you can do anything about that.
Am I very loud?
It's clipping. It sounds like input clip. We could just check.
Weird. Okay. Is that better?
It's not clipping now, so hopefully that is. So Mark Tinley, like being, without clipping now. It's been declipped. Sounds like some kind of procedure, doesn't it? That's not very pleasant. Anyway, I think we have now everybody with us. PJ can't be with us this week. I think he's busy again, but nice to see you. And let's go on to our first topic, and I've got a great screenshot for you here. You ready? Bang, there it is. And this one is the ugly synths. This was a post for Waveform. This is entirely based on the chap who runs it, his own assumptions. It's not a kind of anything scientific. And there's quite a lot of surprise candidates in there, I must say. I think that... I think I don't know. I'm not sure I would go for the Wasp, but there's certainly other ones that I would. Electron Monomachine, yeah, that's quite ugly. It looks like a piece of office furniture. Very good synth, though. I'm not quite sure what that is. Electrocomp. I think the most ugly... The most ugly is, well, I can't remember which one the most ugly is. I have to roll it. But I just thought it was a kind of fun topic, because there's the Oscar. That was a bit of a surprise. Yeah. But it is a bit of a mess, I mean, in terms of layout, I suppose, just because it's so encrusted with knobs. I don't know. No! Rich, I'm guessing that you don't concur with that particular selection.
I don't concur with almost any of these. I'm serious. I read down this list and I was like, don't you guys get the charm of these things? Like, the Gleeman was made as a one-off expensive if you really must have a clear one, and it weighed a ton, if I remember correctly, because it was made of plexiglass. And the Sonic 6... predates pretty much almost everything they ever did, and it was the early developing stages of how do you make it portable? Because I don't know if you remember, the original Synthie AKS had an ad that touted its portability. You can fold it up, it's a suitcase. And this thing has the same sort of open and play, close and play kind of deal to it. And they were trying out ideas, but it's so early no, it's not horrible. So early in the development of the thing. In the way that, an old car isn't horrible to me, that thing is kind of gorgeous. Now, First Man, I have absolutely no romance.
Have you ever driven a Vauxhall Chevette?
I'm sorry?
Have you ever driven a Vauxhall Chevette? There are, yes, I know what you're saying.
I never have. No, I never have.
I've got one for you here, though. What about this one? That's pretty ugly. That just looks like a piece of scientific test equipment to me.
Oh, what am I looking at?
This is the Voyetra.
That's the.
Voyetra. I didn't think it wasn't. It was a cool concept.
That looks like a Betamax. That looks like a Betamax.
You didn't have 8-voice rack mount synthesizers in that day. I don't think there was a one that preceded it. Dave, can you help me out with that?
Doesn't stop it being ugly.
No, you're right.
That was the first 8-voice synthesizer in 3 rack spaces or 4 rack spaces or whatever it was that didn't exist before then.
No,
it's
that's
a groundbreaking.
I agree. It's groundbreaking.
Yeah. This didn't sound like much.
This is. We're not talking about how significant they were. They were talking about how badly designed they are in terms of ergonomics and color scheme. Surely.
Yeah.
All right. My nomination is the Andromeda.
Okay, that's
one of the worst
somewhere.
looking pieces of keyboard I've ever seen in my entire life. And it's almost impossible for me to operate.
No,
I love the way it sounds. Mark, I told you this the first time I laid eyes on it. I can't believe what this thing looks like.
There it is.
You may recall I said this like immediately upon seeing the thing for the first time.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's my nomination.
The Andromeda. That
I can't even look at it.
Look, I'll make it easy for you. I'm just going to get rid of it for you. Dave Spiers, I'm guessing you must. Is it possible for you to dislike a synth in terms of looks? I'm talking just looks. Hold on, you keep moving around. Where are you? I'm trying to catch you now.
I don't know.
There you are. Right.
None of those synths were ugly. None. Especially the Oscar. If anyone, I'm about to take out a fatwa on the person who says that the Oscar's ugly. Ugly synths. A lot of 80s synths were ugly. I thought the Super JX, all that 80s kind of futuristic nonsense, Alpha Junos, all strap-on keyboards look ugly to me. But this sparked off a big discussion here. In fact, the most hideously ugly looking synth is in our opinion, is the X50 Korg Camouflage Edition.
Oh, no!
But we also think that consistently the worst looking synths or keyboards per se were EMU. We think the E2, the E3, Emax, that Proteus keyboard synth, if anyone remembers that.
Ah, there we go. They'll be the phone then.
Pretty ugly.
Yeah, I had one of those.
Ugly, ugly, ugly. So yeah, but nothing in that list. The Gleeman's a thing of beauty until it's got dust on it, and then it looks a bit kind of skanky. The Oscar can't really say anything about that. Negative. Yeah.
Did I miss anything? No. Well, I don't know. The one now, I don't know. Has anybody else got any candidates? Gaz, have you? Is there a synth that you find abhorrent to look at?
The Fismo.
Oh yeah. That got a really bad press. Was it not a good synthesizer though? I'd never actually got to play with one.
I've never played one. I wasn't impressed.
No, not impressed.
Not impressed at all. No, I sort of couldn't get it to do anything interesting really, and it came out after the VFX range, which was all sample based and very interesting. So I was sort of disappointed with it.
It's probably going to be one of those synthesizers that's going to become a classic because you can't get that whatever that sound was anywhere else. I've never seen one. Dave Robinson, you did a bit on the D50 for us, didn't you? For our top 20 greatest synths. That was a very amusing piece where you were trying to find the parameters that was used in edited very efficiently. Did you?
Yes, I've seen the outtakes.
Is that beautiful?
Well, it was of its time, wasn't it? It was the smooth surfaces, the clean surfaces, and the minimal buttons and the sort of the flattened buttons. I mean, it depends whether you define ugly meaning bad color scheme and sort of badly positioned knobs and sort of, because I'd say something like the dope for stuff is pretty. I mean, the rack mount utilitarian dope is pretty cruddy. Yeah, utilitarian. Yes, very pre Berlin Wall. But things like, I don't know, some of the sort of I mentioned the Korg Poly 800. That wasn't that sort of lurid blue colour and the sort of digital lettering and digital numbering. But it was all of the kind of rage in the 80s, wasn't it?
Well, the D50 looks a bit like a hi-fi separate, doesn't it? With a keyboard attached to it.
But B&O at least.
But the D50
that sort of black and yellow chic that the Wasp could never achieve. I would say.
Are you saying the D50? Because the D50
like
was that weird programmer, didn't it?
Yeah. Did it have its own program? I never saw that actually. No, that's
yeah. Really cool. I think that Yamaha really lost it when they did the AN1X. And sorry, Yamaha, I know that you sponsor this podcast, but you don't sell this unit anymore. So the AN1X and the CS1X, which had those weird kind of wedge-shaped sides and really horrible coloured knobs and really horrible coloured plastic. Yeah. I would nominate those, I think.
Let me see. The Fusion's data entry wheel, according to Gaz in the chat room, was based on a American 50s hubcap, and you control the matrix based on a dashboard. Interesting. I've not come across that. I've got one, and this is ugly, but it's a great synthesizer. So if I could just play you a little bit of an example, this is another fantastic piece of video from our friend in Poland. I'll just fast forward it a little bit, and you can see what I think wins for ugliness. Ah, yes, but certainly not for sound, and that's the Synthesaur Polyvox. Oh, I tell you what, it sounds absolutely awesome. Not really well demonstrated by those particular clips, but it did sound. Sounds an amazing synthesizer. But yeah,
I'll play it, isn't it?
You what?
Can I flip that? Can I flip that around?
Yeah.
And then ask. I'd like to know what Rich Hilton, seeing as he thinks everything's beautiful because of its position in history, what generally is his ugliest synth. But I'd also like to know what people think is the best looking synth, because I've given this some thought, and to me, JX8P.
It's toy-like.
Good.
There you go. That's all I've got to say about that.
Toy-like. Yes, the colours. So, Rich, there's a challenge. What is your least favourite looking synthesizer?
Gauntlet thrown down. Wow.
That was. You did say the Andromeda. I think the Andromeda just did get voted.
I found it very difficult to look at. It actually sounds wonderful. Thank you, Dave. Thank you.
Skype.
I'm struggling. You know,
you can find
some late period Korg Poly 61, maybe. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that was grim.
I mean, as Dave says, a camouflage is, something that's gaudy in its color, by its very nature might have bugged me.
Well, the Fusion was acid orange, wasn't it? Not the Fusion. Oh gosh, what was that? What you mentioned earlier? The Fismo. It was kind of acid orange.
No, it was
purpley.
Was it purple? Oh, there we go. Well, that shows you how. I never understood.
What about that 303 rack thing that looked like it had paint thrown all over it? What was that called? An Orbit or something, was it? An Orbit?
Yeah, no, then they had Planet Fat after that. They had Orbit and Planet Fat. Yeah. Those were pretty
I don't understand this picture of this RSF Cobalt, because I thought they were brown. So when I'm looking at that and it's black, that kind of confuses me, because is the Cobalt Expander?
I'm not sure, but the Conbrio, that's brown. I'd say that's fairly brown. That looks like the dashboard from a Doctor Who movie or from something from Star Trek. I like that.
Yeah,
it looks like Bournemouth, that computer from Look Around You. if you know what I'm talking about.
I'm not sure.
But it looks great.
I'm glad to say I don't.
Right.
That's a reference that's passed me by. But anyway, I just thought it was a bit of fun, and that was again thanks to Waveformless Blogspot, and thanks to WC Olo Garb, who did. I'll just show you his collection of synthesizers. Actually, it's pretty impressive. Let me see if I can. He's got an enormous collection right there, and has videoed pretty much all of them. In demos over the years, and I think he was one of the first guys to actually do it, and so good shout to him. He's a top chap. Right, now, what's next? This one. Who's got the biggest? Now, how could we? This is it. I don't know. It must be because we're getting towards the end of the year. It sort of feels like we have to do roundups and lists and what have you, or maybe I'm just sort of haven't been concentrating this week. But this picture from I think it was taken in it looks like about the Yes Tour, and it looks like maybe 1985, 1986. This is Jeff Downs, who purportedly has the world record, or held the world record for the most number of keyboards on stage, on tour. And apparently, according to the Moog PR, and there's a Flickr photo, Jeff holds the record for the most number of keyboards, 28 on stage at any one time. And I suspect that there may be some challengers amongst the panel, because I'm pretty sure that's got to be beaten. Has it not? Dave Robinson.
I saw Rick Wakeman I saw Rick Wakeman in Birmingham in about 1985. The what was the tour? Silent Nights tour, and he had two rigs. He had two separate rigs in sort of two horseshoes, and he had a vocoder on each, and he had several mini Moogs. I can't tell you exactly how many keyboards. We probably counted them at the time because we were absolutely in awe of Mr. Wakeman, but. From what I recall, I mean, this is only what I recall. What I've just seen of that Jeff Downs photo, he had more. That's not supposed to be his.
That's not his touring rig. No, it's not. It's just a picture of Jeff Downs in a nice jumper.
Yeah, but so about the same time, certainly Wakeman was going out with a lot of keyboards. Whether he had 28, I don't know, but he was getting on for that. I'd have thought.
Yeah, I can tell you.
Oh, okay.
According to Chris, well, he said he reckons Wakeman was very, very close. And don't forget, I mean, Chris was on tours of his during that period. 2 full racks, about 8 keyboards on stage, at least a couple of mini Moogs, 2 Psychologics to control patch changes. I think there were 24 devices each, I think.
Oh. Is Chris and then he rounds it off waving at you?
No, we talked about this earlier, but then the best bit is he said, and all into 2 channels on the front of house.
Excellent. You can't, but it's interesting, isn't it, that multi-timbrality kind of changed all that a little bit. You just need lots of keyboards and like one module or one computer or something, and then you're kind of done, really.
Yeah.
I don't know, Rich. Have you seen a rig to beat the 28 on stage?
No, but I did see Downs play the early Asia tours, I'm embarrassed to tell you. Somebody gave me a ticket, however.
I was on the guest list.
And I was watching videos of it this morning because I wanted to make sure that my memory of it wasn't exaggerated. And no, it wasn't. There was a platform behind the band on which his entire rig resided. So not only did he have 5 huge full racks of gear, including heavy stuff, Hammonds, Rhodeses, everything. I mean, it's all heavy, but it's way up in the air too. And
wow,
he's up in the air, and he's running back and forth between him, and it's
a health and safety nightmare. You'd never get away with that these days, would you?
Yeah, I wonder. No railing and all. It was because he's up there, 10 feet above the drummer's head. It looks like.
Wow.
Or maybe 8, but
he could drop a Moog Liberation on him,
distances.
or even if he just dropped one of those 5-inch kind of early Fairlight discs on him, that would have hurt, wouldn't it? Could slice his fingers
funny.
off.
Drop a Moog Liberation on him.
Have to be able to pick it up in the first place, though, obviously.
Yeah, that would be kind of.
It's so 80s, though, isn't it? Big hair, big rigs, big egos.
Yeah, it's good stuff, though. But I do have something that can beat all of that, I think, because I was looking, and I think that beats it. That's Jean-Michel Jarre. I don't think that's a picture of his live rig, but I was looking on elsewhere on a site, and they were talking about the production of it, and it basically said that he had 30.
That's the Oxygen tour.
He had 35 keyboards on stage.
That's the Oxygen tour from 4 or 5 years ago, isn't it?
I bow to your greater knowledge, Dave. To be perfectly honest,
yeah,
I hadn't got that far.
I was there because he's got at the front. He's got the SCI. He's got the Prophet right at the front. Brown synth at the front. There's a Prophet 5 with all the sounds.
That's a memory.
I think I sent you some pictures, didn't I?
That's a memory Moog at the front.
That's
a memory Moog.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, I sent you some pictures of the close-ups I took.
That's right. That's what I was looking for because I knew I'd seen a really big sort of picture of the whole rig and thought I bet that's more because he's taken the whole lot with him. So I reckon he's probably got the world record. Although, could you really call the EMSs?
Because there were 4 of them.
Keyboards. Do you see what I mean? It's about semantics at this stage. I mean, this is how records are won and lost. Quite a lot of those keyboards don't have keyboards. There's an AKS.
You just need to add it up in value.
Well, that would be a winning. That would certainly be a winner.
Yeah, it's about 60 grand's worth of EMS there.
Jesus, at least. There's another one. I don't know what that is. I know that's a theremin over there. Oh, you can't see where I'm pointing because obviously it's just a picture. But you get my drift.
Yeah. They had a theremin back behind Jarre on the left. It was where he had his theremin, I think.
Yeah, I can see that there.
Or on the right.
Mark Tinley, You've done. What sort of number of kits? I mean, because Nick Rhodes must have taken quite a lot of stuff on the road, right?
Well, yeah, no, but I think I'm too young for all of this because I'm a MIDI expert, and I just used to. We took 4 keyboards, and then he used to say to me, "I want to be able to play that one on there," and I had like a MIDI patch bay, and I used them all in master keyboard mode or omni off or whatever you call it, so that they're all master keyboards, so that any keyboard could play any other of the other keyboards' internal sound generators, and we kind of did it like that. And then we had a rack with some bits and pieces in it, and then of course the sequencing rig was like a whole load of synths as well, but I don't know if you can count those because he wasn't playing them. It was all being played off a computer.
That's a good point. I'm not sure if you can.
So really no more than 4, although they were all multi-timbral and doing all sorts of different things.
So. That's a lightweight. He could hardly even be allowed to wear a cape. Even a jumper thrown over his shoulders would have been too much with only 4 keyboards.
Or eyeliner.
We used to joke around with plastic knives at one point. I remember that, jamming plastic knives in all the keyboards. But
like Emerson. Excellent.
Yeah.
Right, this is a switching nightmare, I tell you.
Plastic knives, very, very Nick Rhodes.
Right, I think at this point I'm going to take a break to say thank you for our sponsors. So take a breather, everybody, and I'll be back in about 30 seconds. So I want to say thank you very much to Yamaha for their continued sponsorship of the show. In fact, they are wanting to show you, as you can see with the VT, if you're watching this on YouTube or live, if you're just listening to the podcast, this will mean nothing. But these are the Pocket Track C24 and W24 24-bit 96K recorders. These are tiny. You're looking at the W24, which has wireless remote control, which is really handy. You can imagine using it at a gig. You could actually operate from stage without having to climb on a chair and look at the screen and all those sort of things. Very, very handy. Superior battery life, extended recording up to 38 hours, 2 gig built-in memory, and micro SD cards to give you up to 38 hours of PCM recording. XY configured stereo microphone for superior music recording. Peak limiter, quick startup, ready in only 4.5 seconds. That's actually quite a big deal because often with these things they take a while to boot up and then you've missed the moment. But this is a great onboard speaker for confidence monitoring, all of that kind of stuff. And then there's also the C24, which is a similar format. It's even smaller, weighs a mere 57 grams or 2 ounces. Still got the same kind of stuff. XY, direct USB connection to the computer, quick start up, again, 4.5 seconds. So please do check them out. If you want to go to YamahaSynth.com, check out the Pulse stores in the UK. These are sort of stores within stores where you can try out a lot of the kit. Go down with some memory, record some stuff, take it home, check out and see what it listens like on your system, what it sounds like on your system. And if you're in the US, do the same thing. Head down with a USB stick and see if you can get someone to record some stuff for you, and you can take it home and have a good listen. So once again, we thank Yamaha for the continued sponsorship of the show. Right, back to me. So what's next on our list of delights? Well, there was some nostalgia stuff. I've got 2 nostalgia ones. I'm suggesting that perhaps we go for the second one because the Moog thing, though while interesting, is not as interesting as the Micro Live. This is via Tony, the Mac Doctor, is in our chat room. Helps out a lot with topics, and I was in switching a couple of weeks ago. So I'm going to play this video now, which I think is this one. Classic YouTube BBC nostalgia. What is it about technology and owls in those days? Right, enough of the title sequence. Anyway, this is Fred Harris.
If your micro has joined the skateboard and hula hoop up in the attic, now's the time to get it down, dust it off, and do something creative with it, like making music. Even the Spectrum, with its limited sound facilities, can make a good noise, provided you've got the right add-on. This here is the Spec Drum, which comes from Cheetah. It costs £29.95, and at the moment it's only available from Boots. It plugs into the expansion port here at the back.
I'm going to move on because there's also this fabulous piece of technology, which is the What's this one
or
called?
in fact,
It's called
any
the Advanced Music
which
System,
is shown by this icon here.
running on a
So
C64.
I can just finish off this melody to finish off the piece that I've been programming.
Held the piano,
And then we
which
get on
notes
to
held up with
a
this
nice
MIDI,
link into
it's only
MIDI, which is
320,
explained
and
by
that's it.
Alan Townsend, a
Inside
Roland
an
UK
interface
product
system
specialist.
that would allow anybody's electronic musical instrument.
And
to
I know
connect.
this is all complete nostalgic nonsense, really, but great fun, I thought. And we got so many things in there. We got the ZX Spectrum, and I mean, this was on mainstream television, British television. I can't believe it actually got aired and made. I don't know how many of these things they made, but what I thought was quite funny was the fact that they were talking about the ZX Spectrum like it was worthless, and you probably would have thrown yours away, and now they're kind of collectible. It's just hilarious.
With the hula hoop and the hula hoop and the skateboard.
Yeah, absolutely.
My first sampler was a ZX Spectrum.
I remember. What was it? A Green Gauge or Green Gate? Or what was it that you?
No, I built something. I had an Electronics and Music Maker magazine, and it had the AI, artificial intelligence sampler in it, and it had a cassette on the front cover of the magazine, and you could basically go to the. I went to Maplin and I bought all the different bits and pieces that I needed, and I cut out the breadboard and soldered it all on, plugged this thing in the back of the Spectrum, and then loaded the software in off the cassette, and it played off a CV Gate sequencer, and it had two different programs, one which would let you play 4 different samples across the whole keyboard, or one that would actually let you put different samples in different key ranges. So I could actually use it as a drum machine, but as long as I didn't play more than one sound at once. So I had to get creative with having things like the kick drum, and then I had another sample which was the kick and the hat, and another sample which was the snare, and another one which was a snare and a hat, and then various different combinations of things. So if I wanted to program like a kick, hat and snare all at the same time, I had to have a specific sample for that. So I'd have, and it had...
Those were the days when we had the time, eh?
32K of memories.
Beautiful stuff.
Unbelievable.
I don't know. Does anyone actually
that and just put
records with
Manic Miner on instead and play that?
Does anyone actually remember seeing this program, Dave? It didn't kind of. It didn't strike any memories with me, but I'm sure I would have wanted to watch it if I'd known it was on. Does anyone remember seeing this?
Yeah, vaguely.
I've seen a couple of them,
vaguely.
but it was very much about the BBC Micro. So if you didn't have a BBC Micro, I mean, I had Spectrum, so I didn't tend to watch this. I just got, it was very much focused on the BBC Micro B and those sort of computers, from what I remember. Good to see Fred Harris, though.
Yeah, excellent.
Fred Harris.
Leslie Judd, too. Leslie Judd was from... Was it Player? Sorry, Rich. This is incredibly UK centric. You're sitting there very patiently. Was there anything equivalent in the US? Did you have anything of a similar nature that would that focused on this kind of technology? Because it strikes me as being a very BBC kind of thing. Would it be on PBS or anything like that?
I mean, probably, but not that I recall. And I sought it out in other areas, not from TV.
Specialist.
So I don't remember there being anything. Well, I mean, for example, I met one of the developers of the Synclavier, one of the founders of New England Digital, in a hi-fi store I was working in like 1980.
Right.
So I just ran across the guy and heard about the thing, and then I started researching into it. And I was always in synths and stuff, and I was the onset of workstations and synthesizers with sequencers was big for me, and so I made myself aware of these things. But to answer your question, no, I don't recall TV being a source for me at that point.
It's interesting that I guess that's one of the things about the BBC is that they must have had a great time pitching these programs. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, now we have to. It's down to people like us and very niche channels that kind of that do this. And again, on Tomorrow's World, there was another clip there, and it just doesn't seem to be around anymore. I know. It's a shame, really, isn't it, Dave? Or Mark, who was talking?
I just want to say one other thing, and that is that those programs are what got me into it in the first place. Because when I saw somebody demonstrating a Fairlight on Tomorrow's World, I was just like, I want one of those. I can really get creative with that and do some really interesting stuff with that. And I just wanted to get my hands on anything that I could sample things with and sort of do my own thing. Yeah. So, my entry level was ZX Spectrum and building it.
I'll tell you what, I did find a couple of resources for this is called viceteam.org, and what this is, it sounds much worse than it is because it looks a bit like Vice Squad, but it's actually you can download an emulator for this Commodore C64, and then I also found a place to download the Advanced Music System itself, which was originally $39.95 on disc only. And you could download it and as a disk image and run the whole thing on your Mac or PC or Linux-based box. It's a 133K download. There we go, and it's available there, so you can enjoy the limitations of the age if you so wish. Look, there we go. Here's all the modules. This module up here that's next to there. That module there. Oops, I'm in mirror image. Is the MIDI module. Then the envelope module, and the chap goes into explain it. Tony Sellinger from they call it Firebird Software on the show goes into explain how you would use this software to make. I used the SID chip, didn't it? The SID chip, which has actually become a bit of a classic. But there you go. If you want to, oh my God, I've just seen. There's Dave Spiers holding up a Rock School book. My God.
I was just going to mention Rock School. Oh, you beat me to it. How weird is that?
There we go. There he is. There's Rock School.
Oh, Rock School.
Wow, that was.
Look at Deirdre. Deirdre, even then.
And Henry.
Not.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, this again. This again was another example of this was like an '80s band just teaching music on. I mean, it was kind of lame, but I mean, it was on mainstream TV every week on prime time, wasn't it?
It was. I loved it. It really was. For me, Rock School. I mean, it was always on during the summer holidays and stuff, and you could watch it all. And but I mean, for me, that was the first glimpse I saw of so much music technology in it. And but it's funny how all of the different band members were kind of cliches of that particular role, weren't they? The keyboard was the sort of specky, sort of nerdy boffin bloke, and the bass player was this really smiley guy with his slap bass right up by his chin and stuff, and
the guitarist. And the drummer was
Deirdre, the guitarist. Yeah,
the drummer sounded a little bit slow, and yeah, he always talked a lot slower than everybody else. Yeah, I don't remember what his name was. Anyway, this is again descending into UK-centric nostalgia, but if you get a chance, do check out the clip. It's an interesting clip just because it really dates the technology. I mean, and to be fair, the MIDI have been out for 3 years already, and we're still bloody using it. This is what's so bonkers about the whole thing. And you look and see how old that is, and you think, wow. And we think that's it. Anyway, what's this? This is it's Dave holding up a. Let me see. Is that a picture of you with one of the Rock School people? You'll have to talk so you become enlarged.
That's me, and that's Dale. That's not Henry King Sam Thomas. That's Dale, and that's me in a book called Rock Talk, which was another 80s piece of nonsense.
Have you been raiding the archives then, Dave?
I just looked up at my bookshelf and went, "Oh, I've got loads of these books here." Well, in my defence, it's my old business partner used to write this tat, so there you go.
And you've kept it for years?
Well, yeah, but the best one is, so if we're on the subject of 80s nostalgia, right, there's Chris gets himself a whole chapter in this book because Chris is a roadie and he's working with Aztec Camera, and so that tied in with this blooming program, because I was saying to Chris, well, if this was like 87 or 88, he was on tour with Aztec Camera at that time, using things like sequential 440s, MC500 Mark 1s. So there you go, 80s. It's hell then, and it's hell even now.
Yeah, it's even worse now. But if you do fancy the limitations, head on over to Vice, viceteam.org, and then over to gb64.com, where you can download an image and run some of this stuff. And really, it'd be quite interesting maybe to have a go at downloading this stuff and seeing if it can produce anything meaningful in any sort of time that is, relative to that. I don't know whether it would be or not. What's Dave showing now? Hold on, gotta get that. Is that you drumming? Or was that Chris?
That's Chris in the 80s with his sequential 440 and his Simmons kit. Well, not his Simmons kit, but
the Simmons kit.
The bloke out of Aztec Camera. There you go.
Fantastic. Great stuff. Nostalgia Central.
Frankie says, get a life.
Yeah. Actually, funnily enough, I didn't get this up today, but somebody sent me a link this morning saying they were searching Amazon Download for 12-inch, just 12-inch, and they ranked by popularity, and Tom's Diner was number 2. Again, I can't believe it. Number 2 it wasn't number 1. At least it wasn't number 2 to Ninja Mutant Turtles. Anyway, that was just
Ninja Turtles.
Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Turtles get real.
Turtles get
Spin
real.
that wheel.
Yeah, all of that stuff. Right.
Or itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini, Nick.
Also more successful than us. Yeah. Right, Dave, you found this, so I'm going to show you a picture of it, and then you can talk. Dave Robinson, that is. No, Dave. What am I talking about? Dave Spiers.
No.
Dave Spiers sent this. It's the flash drive, the Hyperdrive Flash iDrive, which I can't believe that nobody's thought of before. This is, in fact, it looks like basically it's a USB connector on one end and a iPod or iOS dock on the other end, and it has presumably some flash RAM in it where you can, so it's got a little app that comes with it. It means you can dump everything out of it onto the hyperdrive and then plug that into a computer of your choice and do stuff with it. What attracted you? What first attracted you to this, Dave? I'm just out of interest.
No, somebody put it up on a Facebook post, and I just looked at it and went, "That's just genius, isn't it? It's so simple and so just genius-like." We always wish that we had ideas like this. Stick a blooming thingy on one end and another port on the other end, and then you can transfer stuff
Look at the price.
Stuff to your phone and vice versa.
That's not cheap, is it? That is
cheap.
How much is that? That is basically $199 for the 32 gig. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the can't you buy like an iPod for about the same price? Or am I wrong there? Okay. I just thought it'd be cheaper, I suppose. I suppose. Do you I think they're probably having to pay for the what are they having to pay for? The the license for the IO dock. You know, the dock thing. Oh,
yeah.
And there's going to be a premium, isn't there? Because it's Apple. Because it's sort of it's a gadget for the iPhone. So you're going to be paying more than you would if you were a normal person.
Well, that's entirely true.
I was looking at something.
The price of Apple memory seems to be completely insane compared to anything else on the market. I mean, I could buy a 16 gigabyte chip off eBay for like a tenner, £10.
Yeah, but it's not the same. It's different. It is different memory. It's very fast. The stuff that goes in Mac Pros is much faster than you just buy standard SIM
I'm
stuff.
talking about what goes in the iPhone, though. Why is it that if I have a 32 gig iPhone instead of a 16 gig iPhone, I pay like £100 more than £100 more?
It's a different kind of memory. It's flash. It's flash memory, and also it's you're paying for the fact that it's Apple product, obviously.
Because you worship Apple like millions all across the planet.
Yeah. Well, some of us.
When will they see?
Some of us don't. Gaz. Yes,
Can I jump in? I noticed something today actually. There's I think it's the Seagate GoFlex. What's the GoFlex satellite? Just as an alternate device for this, and the GoFlex satellite is a little rechargeable hard drive that broadcasts wirelessly to your iOS device, and it's like 500 gig, and that's about £150.
Oh, right. So it's like a what do they call them? I can't remember those drives that you plug in.
Like a NAS drive.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
But it's kind of got like a so it's got like some sort of Wi-Fi. I think it creates its own network actually, and then you join its network with your phone, and then you can access it. And I'm not sure though that it is two-way traffic though. I think you can kind of stream stuff off there, so you could have your iTunes library on there or whatever, and then you can stream it wireless. I think it's only got about 5 hours.
Can you use it as a time machine backup kind of thing?
No, I don't think, because I don't think the iOS things do time machine. Yeah, but I thought it was quite interesting, just for people who are maybe interested in using things like iPhones or iPad as DJ devices, but are put off because of the lack of storage. So the idea there is you got all your songs on this wireless device, and then you could like use it, because there's some really funky things, isn't there? Like the sort of like the DJ, the DJ dock thing that you can plonk your iPad into.
Yeah.
And,
Newmark do a bunch of stuff. Yeah.
The Newmark one, yeah. So just a just an alternate thing I thought I'd mention.
No, but actually, that does bring up another question. Oops, that wasn't supposed to happen. It does bring up another interesting point, because with it, it's not in the show notes, but hard drives. Have you actually bought a hard drive in the last few months? Have you realised that? Have you seen how much money they cost now? They've gone up by more than double, because I've filled I work in pairs, right? And I've got a pair in my Mac, which is what my video working drive. Then I have another one on the outside, which gets synced whenever I choose to. And I filled up, so now I need a new pair. New pair. Previously, it cost like about 30, 40 quid for a terabyte bare drive. They're now 120. Yeah. Because I think... no, they've gone up. I mean, it's a massive, massive price hike. I think it's down to the, well, they say it's down to the fact that there were some floods in Thailand. And so, I mean, but this seems to happen regularly. I don't know whether...
What do you mean they say there was some floods? There was massive flooding in Bangkok. It was all over the news.
That's not what I mean. They say there was. It's due to the flooding. So, I mean, all of the factories are presumably there. I mean... So it's the commodity price of storage has gone through the roof, and that's going to have quite an interesting knock-on effect on stuff that's currently being built, I presume.
See, I bought one relatively recently from Tesco's, a 2 terabyte hard drive for like £60 or something.
Yeah, but it probably wasn't 7200 RPM. Your mic is cracking up again, Mark.
Is it?
Yes, it is. No, is it maybe it's just in the UK? Are you finding this rich? Because you must have to buy a bunch of storage where you are. I mean, because you must get through it for the projects that you work on. Have you noticed that, or does it make very little difference to your to you?
No, I haven't shopped the drive in a while, so I hear what you're saying with acute interest, because I see myself making some computer changes in the near future, and I wondered if I would be buying any drives. So I will take a look and I'll get back to you.
Yeah, watch out, because it really has gone up. So if you find a deal, I don't know when it's going to go down again. If you do find a deal, try and get one. Gaz.
I've got a deal for anyone in the UK. There's a chain called Best Buy that's gone down the tubes now. I think it was like Carphone Warehouse had sort of launched this Best Buy thing. It's like somewhere in between PC World and Curry's or something like that. They're going out of business. I was in there the other day. They've got like at least 30% off everything, and there was loads of hard drives there, and I was looking at them thinking, wow, they're the cheapest ones I've ever seen. So if you're after a hard drive, head down to Best Buy.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a great idea. I think I'd go for that. Somebody is breaking up. I don't know if it's me. How's the audio stream for everybody? Oh dear.
Hopeless.
Hopeless.
Yeah. I mean, if you went to PC World and you bought an external USB hard drive and just ripped it out the casing, presumably you're talking about bare drives, aren't you? So you could just clone it from the inside of a USB device, couldn't you?
Well, you could, but they're probably not going to be 7200 RPM. And that's what I need. I mean, you might not need that but certainly for video and the multi-track audio, you're going to need higher speed. Usually they might be 4200 or 5200, which is quite slow. So they're not high performance drives. That's the key, and that's what seems to have gone up.
I'm seeing drives for $130 for 7200 RPM, 1 terabyte.
That's very interesting. So I wonder why we're getting penalised.
While we're on drives, I've got a request. About 3 months ago, I bought a Roland VP 9000, I think it is, sampler, and the maximum hard drive size it can use is 2 gigabytes. So I've been trying to buy a 2 gigabyte SCSI drive, a 50p. You look for those on eBay, they're like 150 quid. So, and nobody's got them. I guess they're just, people aren't bothering to sell them, so people who are opportunists are sticking the prices right up. So if anybody who's listening to this has a 2 gigabyte or anywhere between 1 or 2 gigabyte 50-pin SCSI drive kicking around that's not doing anything, post it to me, please. And I'll give you something.
I'll tell you why I think that might be. It's because SCSI devices are now generally only found in high-end server products and things that are like legacy, like really old, Suns and HP Reliance and all those kind of things. So you're probably finding that SCSI drives always are actually quite expensive now because they are kind of legacy. So there aren't that many people manufacturing them, if at all. And the old stuff that still works. Could you not get a SCSI? Because in fact, I remember covering this a little while back. It was with the S900. or the S5000 rather, you could get an adapter that would you could take out the internal drive and put in a serial ATA or SCSI adapter to a card reader and put compact flash in instead.
I tried that. I bought one off eBay. This chap was very nice and sent it to me and said you can have it on approval. If it works for you, then buy it, and if it doesn't work, send it back. And I had to send it back because the Roland operating system just simply didn't recognise it and thought it was a CD rewriter for some reason. So
that's a shame.
It didn't work. I've bought a Jazz drive. I'll see how I get on with that. That's 2 gigabyte Jazz, but I think I'd prefer to have like a fixed disk. But,
yeah.
We'll see.
Your bandwidth is terrible, Mark. I don't know whether or not I can barely make you out. You sound like you're operating in kind of 8-bit 11K sample rate or lower.
Are you plugged into your Spectrum?
Yeah. Skype on a Spectrum just doesn't work. Right. Okay. Dave Robinson, are you about to lose your conference room? Are there people who are knocking on the door, like irate executives waiting to get into the upper floors of your building that you're holding out, or are you still with us for a little while?
No, there aren't actually, but I can give... no. Okay. I can't think of anything funny to say, so no.
Oh, right. I set you up and you let me down like that. How could you?
Talk about something else.
You're not coming on
hard drives, then.
All right, here we go. Funky bags. How about this? Let's have a look at some funky bags. This is a Christmas gift idea. This is from syncbags.gr, which is actually a Greek company, believe it or not, which is not something you often see. These look really groovy, actually. Got 909 rhythm bag, 808 boom bag, a cassette, MPC, looks like a little Fender amp, 303 bag. These are kind of cute, actually. I don't know where you can get them. That's where you can get them. I'm not sure what much there is to say about this. I think Dave Spiers, you sent me this and said you sent me something else, which I've forgotten what. Oh, you sent me that other link, and I said, "Oh, check this out." So, is this something? Can you consider? But is this a gift for somebody synthy in your life? Hello.
Sorry, I'm muted. Should be back now. Yeah, no, I think it's a really cool idea. I love all this kind of nonsense. I want the 909 bag for a couple of mates, definitely. But they were selling them in Phonica Records, but they don't seem to have those in. They got the amp stuff in. Yeah, the 909 is brilliant.
Yeah, well, I looked at the links because the 808 and the 909 are new, and if you order them from Sync in Greece, they're €60. But you look at Phonica or Vinyl Junkies, 80 quid.
Yeah. Wow.
80 quid. Yeah, it's a lot.
That is a lot.
I mean, it's very nice.
They do look cute.
But, I mean, you get away with it. I mean, you wouldn't carry around it. What would you put in your 303? I mean, you look like a bit of a girl with that. Can you show the picture of the 303, Nick? There's a girl with sort of big hair with a 303 going, look at me. But she looks like a bit of a tit.
It's, what could you put in that? I'm thinking...
your keyboard tie.
Your QY70, I think, would probably fit in there.
Yeah.
Anyway, bus pass.
Go on, click on 303, lady.
Yeah, I can't do that. It doesn't work like that, because it opens a new window, and that's not the window that I'm grabbing and switching back. So I'm afraid it doesn't. I don't think. No, that doesn't work at all. I can see it, but nobody else can, which is a bit pointless. Not that. Let me see. Let me just put the link in the show room. It's syncbags.gr. Anyway, that was a bit of an unsuccessful topic. So, what about Gibson? Buying Stanton. Cool. That's a bit of a shocker, isn't
Stanton.
it? Yeah, but they've also, and I didn't realise this, that they've also. Actually, Dave Robinson, you were saying that means they also get Serwin Vega, and who was the other company?
Yeah, so KRK.
And KRK
monitors.
So Gibson have just snaffled that, and they released. I haven't actually prepared a story for this at all, but they've released the press release that was along the lines of, in Gibson's ongoing move into the lifestyle market, whatever that is. They now have a pro audio division, and that they will hopefully be merging their R&D facilities and gaining the best from both worlds. But as I think I was talking to Dave Robinson when we did a Skype test call yesterday, wasn't that something that was supposed to be happening with TC Electronic? And
well, yeah, they tried to get together with TC Electronic beginning of I think the announcement. Dave Spiers, in fact, some of you guys won't remember it was sort of NAMM 2008 was the announcement, and then by April it was all off.
Yeah.
So
it was quite glum when he spoke to anybody at TC. Said, "So what happened?" And they said, after 4 weeks, it was like we couldn't work with it.
As I say, if you look at various, yeah, I don't think they could work out a way of. I mean, TC, they have their own. They call killer products. They call them Viking products at TC because they're going to go out and pillage other countries with their various reverbs or whatever. But I mean, yes, this is what I've heard. I'm not sure if that's official, but you've got to remember that Gibson got together with they swallowed up Opco, didn't they? And for some kind of technology which they were trying to develop.
Your network's going,
something
Dave.
Called Magic. Does anybody remember this? Capital M, small a, capital G, small I, capital... You hear me?
Yes, I can now. Yep, you're back.
Right, okay. Yeah, they had this sort of networking technology called Magic, which was very short-lived, which didn't go anywhere. They swallowed opcode, and so Vision and Studio Vision didn't go any further. So in terms of expanding the brands...
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, this is always the example that's cited with anything to do with Gibson, isn't it? I mean, I'm sure that's a long time ago, and that was one product. I mean, I don't know whether that's the case anywhere else. I mean, they didn't get a great reputation of sort of just buying up brands and swallowing them up. I mean, as the chat room has been saying, lifestyle choice is kind of is where they're obviously looking at what Apple are doing and want to emulate that.
Get some,
yeah, and why ever not? I know, Rich, is this any kind of big news in the US? I mean, I spotted it go past, and it didn't really kind of seem to... I mean, I know that the trade magazines have run with it, and I wonder if it actually means anything. Because Stanton, they did some really cool, and we covered some of their really innovative controller products, right? The DJ...
Well, first of all, to answer your question, I wasn't aware of it until this conversation. So whether that means it has been underreported or not, I've been sort of under a rock for most of a week, being away on vacation and not really paying attention to anything. So I didn't see this. I think it's a really smart thing for them to do. And Stanton, yes, is a long-standing company with a huge history, et cetera, et cetera. And if it comes with Sherwin Vega and a bunch more DJ stuff, then I think that they're kind of properly doing some smart business work, especially in light of the troubles they're having importing wood these days in the United States.
Not a lot of wood in the DJ market. That sounds like a terrible innuendo, doesn't it, actually? Sorry, there probably is actually a hell of a lot of wood in the DJ market, but not... no, I'll stop there. I'll stop that now. You know what I'm saying. I think I know what that joke was supposed to mean. I just went very badly
I can't sit comfortably at the moment.
No.
Oh! Hey! First time on Skype and I get a knob gag in. That was the CEO knocking at the door, by the way.
I say, can you get out of my office? Dave Robinson from ProSoundNewsEurope.com, thank you very much for joining us. Does that mean you've got to go, or are you, did I take that too bad?
That was literally the CEO going, oh, right, so I think I better clear out.
Did you just tell him?
Thank you very much. It's been... No, I said, and he said, oh, okay, but they've done, yeah, I think they want to come in and do something. So we're only down to, can I just explain why I've been away, chaps? It's because we only have, up until recently, in this new office in Islington, we only had one boardroom, and it was being booked all the time. So every Wednesday, but we had a design studio, and they've just all left a couple of weeks ago. So now we have two private rooms. So the chances of me getting on are two doubled, amazing. Where I was before, there were 15. So anyway, thank you very much, and I'll speak to you hopefully again before Christmas.
Yep, check out ProSoundNewsEurope.com for the digital online edition of the magazine. There you go. That is the paper one, and the ProSoundNewsEurope.com for the digital one. Thank you very much, Mr. Robinson. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Right. Can I hang up on you, or do you have to do it for me? Oh, you've done it. Right. Okay. And so here we are again. I've forgotten where I was now. Dave, Do you think this is going to make any difference? Because I'd like to think that actually it might mean that some of this controller stuff gets a bit more in the mainstream, because it didn't ever really quite take off for some reason. I don't know why it was, because it wasn't expensively priced and it seemed to work okay. It just didn't seem to stick for some reason.
Me?
Yeah, I don't know. That's just because you happen to be on the screen with me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no. No, I'll take the Fifth Amendment, I think, on anything to do with Gibson, I'm afraid.
Yeah, on second thoughts, that's probably something I should have done, and I shouldn't have even brought it up, because there might be a cease and desist winging its way through me now. Or maybe they just want to buy us. They could just buy us. We'd be for sale for the right price.
Yes.
So, what else can we talk about? I've kind of done it, really. Oh, there isn't anything else to say. I've run out of topics. I'm just very poorly prepared. Excuse me. So, has anybody else got anything they want to add before we do the goodbyes and roundups, or are you all happy to leave it where it is?
Nano Studio is now on the iPad.
Oh, it's actually been
last night.
It's actually come out, right? Well, we're going to cover that, aren't we?
Yeah, we'll cover that on our show. But it's superb.
Yeah. I would like to say that our show is called Sonic Touch, and it's available occasionally. At occasional times when we can fit it in and do it. But yes, do watch that. We'll have a look at Nano Studio the next time. So, excellent.
Is that the same thing that was on the Game Boy that I reviewed, which was the first review that I ever did view, Nick, in about 1999 or 2000 or something?
You know what?
Do you remember that thing?
No, it's not the same thing, but I think it might have been called the same thing.
That was called Nano Studio.
I think you're right, yeah, and it ran on the Game Boy, and it was... yes, I do remember that.
I mean, if you've still got that review up there, it was...
Oh, yeah, I'm sure
like
we have.
Sonic Station. It was like review number one of the whole
was
site.
one of the first. It was It was our first ever. It was our first ever communication. Yeah, how interesting. No, the first thing you did was Creamware, some Creamware Pulsar or Scope or something, I think.
Oh yeah, that was good. That program, I like that.
It was good.
Maybe I should buy one.
I think you can still get it on Newbus card somewhere. Anyway, Gaz, I think we'll say goodbye, because my ability to hang this all together is disintegrating by the second. So I'm very sorry that I wasn't quite. I think it's quite. It's been a slightly bad network day, so I'm sorry. I do apologise for that. I thought it'd all been fixed, but I think it's all right now. I think maybe it's just we have to kind of figure out how to make the numbers work when we're all remote, because it does tend to get a little bit out there. And the other thing I want to say is we got the story, Dave. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. That Underworld got the Olympics ceremony gig, didn't they? So does that mean you're going to be programming stuff for it, getting involved? Will you have VIP passes to all the events?
I doubt whether I'll get that. I would imagine I may get a call 20 minutes before it's all due to start going, this needs sorting, make your way to London now. No, I don't know. I have no idea. No, it was really good, and it was something that would kind of... in fact, it's weird, because I was trying to get Carl on the show this week, and he said about he was doing a ton of press today, and then this morning when that was announced, that was confirmation of an awful lot of rumours. So, yeah, no, really good. Brilliant. I'm really chuffed for him.
So, yeah, that's... Underworld are musical directors for the opening ceremony of the Olympics 2012 in London, together with Danny Boyle, who's the artistic director. So it should be a very interesting thing, and it's quite interesting because the Olympics have actually become more showbiz since, I think it was it Spain who really kind of pushed the boat out and went all kind of our chaos and what have you, and then now the opening has become more, less about sort of the national thing and more about this kind of big showbiz Vegas kind of show, which I think is great. I mean, it's a real spectacle. It seems to have kind of upped the game a bit, so we'll hopefully see some fun stuff there. Not that I did try and get tickets, but I think all we got offered was something sort of outside the stadium for fourth round butterfly. It just didn't get anything, so it wasn't. And we figured out it was going to cost us about £1,000 to go and see some qualifying round for a very obscure sporting event. So we decided it wasn't.
It's going to be horrendous, isn't it? Even by the time you get out there, sort your transport out, eat, buy some swag at the merchandising store. God, it's going to make Premiership football look like child's play.
Yes, it certainly will. But anyway, so what I will do then is I'll say the goodbyes now, because now I certainly am rambling. So I want to say thank you very much. So we'll say Mr. Gaz Williams, thanks for joining us this week. Songsurgeon.co.uk. Always a pleasure to see you. And you look like you've got a blue microphone this week.
Yeah, this is my blue mouse.
Eek.
With this rotating capsule.
Excellent. It looks very nice, that, actually. I must try one at some point. Yes, anyway, thank you very much, Gaz, for joining us. It's been a pleasure. And now I will switch to Mark Tinley, likebeing.com. Thank you very much for joining us too. And your hat. I hope the hat, when you said that your cat had peed on that hat, and it shrunk because it's been in the wash, I'm hoping you were about to add.
It shrank because it's been in the wash, yeah. It hasn't shrunk a lot, though.
It still fits.
I've got this idea, actually. Can I just run something by you? Because it's nearly Christmas. You could consider me to be a Christmas gnome, but then I thought, at Toastmasters, we do this thing every year where we have a Christmas pantomime. And then I thought, you could have a virtual Christmas pantomime with these chaps at Sonic State, and then we could all, like, kind of dress up as dames or things or something. So we should choose a pantomime and do, like, a virtual Christmas panto. And do a little bit of good old British slapstick, and Rich is pulling some strange.
Wow, that's an interesting.
What do you think?
That's an interesting challenge. I have to give it some thought. I'm not sure that I'm ready for the stage, Mrs. Worthington. No, it isn't. Maybe what I should do is I could prepare a few crowdsourced things like that. You know, you used to put tumbleweed in, and I can have no, it isn't. Oh, yes, it is. No, you know. And maybe a couple of jokes. That's a possibility. I'll have a think about that.
Yeah, we've got to get ridiculous wigs and what's that guy?
What do you mean wig? I don't need a wig.
No. Is it makeup?
Makeup, sure.
Anyway,
Mark, thank you very much for joining us. That's a very interesting thought indeed. And also, we'll say goodbye to Dave. No, I've done Dave Spiers, haven't I? No, have I done? Yes, I have. No, I haven't. I will say goodbye to Rich Hilton, because he's up there now. Rich Hilton, Hiltonius.com. Thank you very much for joining us this week, and I'm sorry for the chaos. I couldn't get a switcher.
Fun.
I couldn't get a switcher in this week, and I'm going to do it again next week. Now you see, the thing is, now I've actually had someone doing some switching. I can't go back. Now I feel completely sort of unable to cope with the pressure. See what you've done to me? Right, anyway, Rich, thank you very much.
I gladly take the blame.
Thank you very much for joining us. And also to Dave Spiers, GForceSoftware.com. Thank you very much for joining us also. And we will see you somewhere online somewhere soon. There you go. Oh, yes, and, of course, don't forget Dave Spiers' excellent Mellotron packs, the Streetly tapes. If you've seen that the video that Dave shot of just the Mellotron stories, very fascinating. Really, really interesting stuff. So do check it out. I think I posted a link on the site. We put up a news item. So Dave, if you say something, I can zoom in on you, but I can't until you do it.
Okay. No, I'm ready to go now.
Okay.
But thanks.
Thank you very much. I don't want to do any more. Oh, Gaz is doing tricks. Look, he's doing kind of pantomime tricks. What were you doing there?
I was doing tricks. I was going out of midair. I can grab a little fireball like this, throw the fireball up, grab it. I can put it in my mouth. I can pull two out of my eyes.
Whoa, check it out. Fantastic.
Okay, how are you doing that?
Oh, no, you can't. I've seen those before. They were selling them at Hamleys. Right, this is on the way. Actually, I wanted to leave us with, because we talked about the idea of classical arrangements, and I got an email from, he's called DCS 1771, which was all the information he gave me. He said, great show, by the way. Just wanted to include a classical piece for you that I arranged by Schubert. I think it applies to the end of your discussion of the live show last week. So I'm going to play us out with that. So I'm hoping going to play the right button. It does say video 4. So anyway, that was Sonic Talk number 246. Thank you very much for joining us, everybody. And that's a wrap. Okay, right. Stopping the stream.